Welcome back to the Carolina Blue Pod. I am your host, Chudy Blue, and we are back for another season of ACC play. Um, we took a L.
God damn it!
We took a L the other day, SMU. So we're going to recap that game, talk about what went wrong, what bright spots we seen, and talk about just the overall stability of the team and where we see ourselves right now. So jumping it off right from the bat, SMU has some really good players on their team. They have really good guard play. And they made big shots all game. Anytime that we were mounting our comebacks or going on our runs, they made big shots, whether it had been the guy, what's his name, Boopy. He was out there playing like a Kimball Walker. He had 27 points, 10 of 13. He went 10 of 13 from the field, and he hit big shot after big shot. I'm talking about one leg fadeaways and in the middle of the lane. So he had all the big shots when we were coming back on our run. And they had the other guy, Corey Washington, who hit about 5 threes. Each one of them were big threes coming off of a Carolina run or extending their lead. So they made the shots that they needed to make. They were at home. They made those big shots anytime that they were stopping our runs. So they definitely deserved to win that game. They played a better game. They held down. The main thing that they did was hold down our front court. This year, we know that Caleb Wilson, Henry Basar are the backbone of our team. They're double guys. They scored the bulk of the points, especially when Seth Trimble was out. And they were held to, below standards of what we've been seeing for this year. Caleb Wilson is a 19, 20-point a game scorer. He had 13. He still shot a good percentage, 6 of 11 for the field, but we're usually them shooting like 60-something%. Dunking everything. He had 13 points. He had 7 rebounds, so no double-double for Caleb Wilson this game. He did have 4 assists. He's an above-average passer. They're doubling him now. They don't want him to get off. He passes the ball very well. He's unselfish. But, 13 points, 7 rebounds, definitely below standards. Also, Basar, usually if one of them is not off to a good start, the other one is, and they kind of even out. But Basar had about 14 points. He was 4 of 11. He's usually shooting 63% from the field, so they held him down. He struggled quite a bit with his shot making. 6 rebounds once again. No double-double for him. So, those guys who are scoring 16 and 20 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, they're getting 13 and 14. So they were held down. They had a really good game plan against the bigs, and that kind of made the offense a little bit slower. Seth Trimble was Seth Trimble. We are ecstatic to have him back. He's so north and south that he's always getting to the basket. He's always getting fouled. He's always on the break and finishing or getting fouled. So he kind of keeps you in the game with just those things. But he had a monstrous game. He was 22 points. Not known as a shooter, but he is knocking down that 3 since he's been back. He was 3 of 7 from 3. We'll take that all day. And when we can get 3 threes from Seth Trimble, who's normally a downhill driver, then that's a good thing. So bright spot is that he's hitting the 3. He's well conditioned still, coming back from injury, missing those games since the Kansas game, and he's also locked in. I mean, he hasn't missed a beat since he's been back. So he had 22, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Ended up having to play some point guard for us, which is usually not what he's playing on the team. And that's because we had some struggles with our point guard play in the SMU game. Kyan Evans is still struggling to find his self. Last game, before the SMU game, he shot the ball well and shot the ball a lot, which we don't mind. He can shoot the ball. but he's just struggling to find himself between being a playmaker for this team and being a scorer like he's more naturally known to be when he transferred. Um, and then he has a guy in Derek Disson that's backing him up, that's also giving him, giving good minutes here and there, had big games. So they're kind of competing for minutes at this point. And the way it looks is Hubert is just going with, who's playing the best. And that's between all the guards. That's Evans, that's Dixon, that's Luka, that's Powell. All of them have had moments. And we're riding out with what's going to be the best lineup of the day, trying to see who's stepping up that day. So Evans struggled. He only had 3 points, 1 assist. So he wasn't scoring. He wasn't really getting anybody involved. And he had 2 turnovers. I think him and Derek Disson got bad turnovers where I think one of them got picked off at the top of the key. Things like that we just can't have at the point guard position. So Derek Disson also had 3 points. Very good shooter, but was 1 of 4 from 3 last game. He did have 3 assists, no turnovers. So I think at this point in the season, Derek Disson, as far as getting people involved, has been a little bit better than Kyan Evans. Kyan Evans has been controlling and not turning over for the most of the season. So it's kind of like a give-take with those two. It's more like a two-headed monster at point guard. Neither one of them were playing particularly well in the SMU game. So what we ended up doing is just putting Trimble at point guard at some points later in that game and going with a bigger lineup. Bright spots in the game. First thing we want to talk about is Jared Stevenson. This is a guy with a lot of potential. He's about 6'10". He plays the 3 or the 4 for us. He plays exceptionally well on defense. We would like to see a little bit more aggression on offense, but this is what he showed today when we needed him to step up against SMU. He hit 3 or 4 threes. He can shoot the ball, open threes in the corner, 3 or 4 from there. He had 16 points. He was 5 or 6 all. He had a couple of drives. He was just a little bit more aggressive. He gave us some energy when we needed it during that game, but it just wasn't enough. That's something we want to see continue throughout the rest of the season. He can be on the court literally just for defense, as like a Leaky Black was or Theo Pinson early in his career. But we would like to see a little bit more offense because he gives us a weapon, a 6'10" guy who can play small forward or power forward, who can step out, shoot the 3, and can also, get in there, get rebounds, and pick on some smaller guards as well, or smaller players that may be guarding him at points in time. So we want to see a little bit more aggression there. That was the bright spot besides Stevenson having his biggest game, I think, to date. Trimble played well, another bright spot. Luka, this is what I think we should do with Luka. Luka is an exceptional shooter. He hasn't been shooting well this season as a whole, but he can shoot the ball. It's kind of like with Caleb Love when we had Caleb Love. If he had a bad shooting game, he was going to continue shooting. You don't really want to tell him, hey, don't shoot, because you know what's on the other side of that. It could be a big game on the other side of that. It could be game winners on the other side of that. So he can get his shot off whenever he would like, and he just hasn't been shooting that well. Against SMU, he kind of toned it down a little bit. He had 8 points. He had 2 or 4 from 3. Wonderful. Good spot up threes. One with the shot clock winding down. Hit a big shot for us. I think with Luka, we need him to do a little bit more spot up shooting and also playmaking, because our point guards aren't, I wouldn't say, the best playmakers. Luka can get into the lane. He can pass pretty decently. I think he just looks for a shot more than he looks for the pass. And you want him to be aggressive. You don't want him to tone down his aggressive, but he has to shoot a better percentage for us. So if we can get him on the spot up threes and get him to do a little bit more playmaking, because he has 6 assists against SMU. He can rebound. He plays defense pretty good. He's not like a liability out there. He plays hard. He competes just as the rest of our guys. But if we can get him shooting a high percentage from three, which we know he can because he's a shooter, and also doing a little bit more auxiliary playmaking for us because, Evans and Dixon aren't the best playmakers right now. Our best playmakers, I would say, even Wilson passes the ball very well, gets people open shots. Seth Trimble also had 5 assists last game, but he likes to get downhill and score as well. But Luka, I think, could make up some of that auxiliary playmaking, such as, like I said, Theo Pinson did for us during his run. He did a lot of playmaking. Joe Barry not being so much of a traditional point guard. He was more of a scoring point guard. So Theo Pinson did a lot of that playmaking. I think Luka should be along those lines as well if we can get him to make some plays for our bigs and also still with some of that shot making ability. So I think that will be key for us moving forward. But yeah, SMU just hit big shots. They shot 60%. Those guys were hitting everything. It's no cause for concern on my end. We were away. It's an ACC play. You're going to take your lumps. Those guys had big games. I think it's just more of a learning experience. We know that if our bigs aren't rolling the way that they need to roll, we need to find some more shot making, playmaking, and finding ways to get them involved when they're getting double teamed and when the focus is on them. But I think we'll be fine. I'm not really concerned about that loss. I think SMU just really took that game with their shot making ability. So we'll move on to the next one and then we'll make those adjustments. I see people in those chats and in those Facebook groups every time we take a loss is fire Hubert Davis. That's not the case. I think he made adjustments during the game. I think he put the press. I think we were in good position to take over the game. We took the lead a couple of times, but those guys just hit big shots, and that happens sometimes. I mean, that's something you got to get used to, especially with this road games that we're going to be on a little road trip here with these new teams that's looking to make their mark in the ACC. So it's okay. We'll be fine. And until next time, this is not a new pod. It is the Carolina Blue Pod. And we'll see you next time.